It's that time of the year that I get to talk to Dr. Bruce Elsey in person, and you guys get to see us have a conversation. He's a very humble and modest person who has done extraordinary things in the pet industry for cats, continues to innovate, but he's also done amazing things on behalf of Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation, starting because his wife got this disease many years ago. And Dr. Elsey is a can-do kind of person. He said, we're not just going to let this take my wife and all the other hundreds of thousands of people who suffer from rare cancers. I'm going to do something about it. Bruce, you've been a tireless, upbeat, positivity man, and it's saved your wife's life and the lives of many other people. And you continue to do it every fall in giving massive amounts of money. But I think as important as the money is, and we'll talk about how that gets generated, it's also the awareness that you've been bringing to multiple myeloma and to similar blood cancers and other kinds of cancers that not many people have, but if they have them, they want to be rid of them. You want a champion to say, you know what, I can do something, so I will. Talk about
Yeah,
what it was like for you when your wonderful wife, Kathy, was first diagnosed. You had, at that point, you're the two young men who are now grown humans and help run your company. They were teenage boys, twins, weren't they?
exactly. Yes. So it was 2009 and the year that Kathy was diagnosed. So that was early in the year. And then June the 25th, she got her stem cells back. So went through all that, lost her hair, etc. Multiple myeloma has a number of different types of disease, the way it's presented. Hers caused a lot of fractures. And so it was a really painful situation. But in the course of all that, we decided that it would be good if we could give back. And so that's when we searched out and found the Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation. As a result of that, we started giving every year. And then along with our company, we do a Give Three, Save Three campaign every year, where if you just download a coupon off of a 40-pound bag of our Ultra Cat Litter, you can get $3 off of that. And then we also donate another $3 to the Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation. So as a result of that, over all the years, we're up north of $17 million that we've
Oh
been
my
able to generate. So
goodness.
we feel really good about that.
That's pretty extraordinary. That's about 15 years and a massive amount of money. And as I say, the campaign you have isn't just give us some money. It's more be aware of this. You don't, all you get back is the $3 that you gave. And I hope that some of the people say, you know what? I think I'll give more than three, or I'll give more on top of whatever Dr. Elsey's gives, because you're the one who gives it. You give them $3 off, and then you give $3 on the behalf of the kitty litter user. But I think it's people's awareness has made this into the many millions. And I think a lot of people's lives have been touched by rare cancers. I'm sure you know the statistics, but they have been. We've all heard of people having a weird sarcoma or a rare blood disorder, right? All of them are kinds of cancer.
Exactly, Tracy. So, an offshoot of this, we actually started Dr. Elseys to Cure Cancer campaign. And as a result of that, the research that multiple myeloma does, it also has an impact on other cancers. So, the research they do can be helpful across the board as far as trying to find cancer cures.
Which is really an interesting part of the cancer research world or the cancer mediation world, or let's find a cure for cancer world. A lot of work done on dogs, not so much on kitties because they don't get as much cancer. On dogs is translated to human cures. And a lot of human researchers looking for cures for human cancer share ideas with each other, concepts, stem cell, other whatever kinds of immune therapy, new ideas that come along. So it's not like everyone's working in a tiny little cave and doesn't want to share, right? They're all working together towards an understanding of how cancer works and how to shut it off.
exactly. And actually, interestingly enough, Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation, they've been really instrumental in getting researchers to communicate better with each other
Right.
because the pharmaceutical companies, they have a vested interest, obviously, in keeping a lot of that information to themselves.
Yes.
But they push the fact that if you want some of our tissue cultures, et cetera, to further your research, then you have to share everything with all the other researchers.
Yeah. Which, and so is that a rare thing about the Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation? Are they more giving or more outgoing or more community centered in their thinking with other scientists?
I think it's becoming more mainstream that that other companies, organizations do share more and more information. But I think they were the trailblazers on all of that.
Isn't that nice? I'm sorry that you had to learn this because Kathy got the disease, but we're talking 15 years down the road and she's living a vibrant life, and your sons have grown up to be men with wives and children, and you have grandchildren. These are the kind of stories that didn't happen. Multiple myeloma, as I understand it, was incurable and deadly when she was first diagnosed.
Unfortunately, there still is not a cure for multiple myeloma, and it is a fatal condition. Kathy has been a miracle. I you hate to think that you're such an outlier that she's been in remission for all these years, but she really is. And it would be nice if everybody would enjoy the ride that she's had since her stem cell transplant was done. But unfortunately, the majority of the people with multiple myeloma, they succumb to their disease. Certainly, it's a much longer runway, if you want to use that
Right,
terminology. Seems
right.
like they use that a lot in cancer that,
Oh, do they? I didn't know that.
yeah, they use that you've got all these different drugs you can use and that extends your runway. But at the end of all that, it's just buying time. But she's really, it's just a God thing, is all I
Yeah,
can
I
say.
know. That's
Yeah.
cute. That's really nice. It is just a God thing. I had
Yeah.
a friend who had multiple myeloma and thought it was going to be quickly fatal. And what the Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation came up with, indirectly, not directly to her, but her doctors benefited from it. She had many good years, many before
Yeah.
she succumbed. But again, it depends also where in the progression of a disease somebody is diagnosed. It's, I think, very creative of you as a man who has a private company that speaks for cats. That's what your company does. That you could shift your focus to use that platform of all the cat lovers who have made your litter the number one litter, and then designed and developed a dry and wet food, but most extraordinarily a dry food that is good for cats, and you never sold your company to a great big multinational corporation who would have said, what has multiple myeloma got to do with this? Let's just keep on building the kitty litter part. And I think that I hope that the people really appreciate that this is your personal company and these are your personal goals and dollars and ideas. And it's really important to have so many kinds of litter that so many different kinds of cats deal with well and use their litter box nicely. Really important. And you've come up, you invented from just invention, because you are an inventor and an engineer as well as a doctor, a practicing feline doctor, that Dr. Elizabeth Hodgkins, who is the toughest nut to crack where cat food is concerned. She and I coined the phrase kitty crack. We've talked about it for years on Cat Chat, no dry food for cats, obligate carnivores. Dr. Dr. Elizabeth has a law degree and a medical degree. She's stopped practicing feline medicine, but she said, you know what? Clean protein, dry food. Yeah, he has absolutely rung the bell. He's come up with something that's correct for cats. So if you need to feed dry food or you want to, or your cat needs the crunch, there it is. And yet you've also worn this other hat, which as a major philanthropist, who, as a regular person, and you are a very regular person. You live in Colorado, you live a normal life, you're not jetting around or yachting around. You've given $17 million. That's an
Yeah.
accomplishment to just be like doing that on the side a couple of months of the year. You also have the $1 million match coming up in December. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. So the Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation, latter part of the year, but this year it's going to be in December, they do have a program where we will give up to $1 million and we match dollar for dollar with that $1 million. And it's been an ongoing thing for years and years. And so that's part of where the $17 million comes from,
Right.
obviously, is that match. But it is directed towards an overall cure for all cancers. But the main focus, of course, would be the second most common blood cancer in the US and around the world, which is multiple myeloma.
The second after leukemia, I'm guessing.
Right. Yeah. It's a there is one form of leukemia that is more common than multiple myeloma. I guess you would say that multiple myeloma, depending on how you want to look at it, would be a form of leukemia.
Thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what is if multiple myeloma is the number two? What's the number one?
I th I that escapes me right now, the actual
Technical name for it. But anyway, multiple
technical name
myeloma
for it.
comes in
Yeah.
number two. We like number 10. We like
Yeah.
off the list and off the chart completely. That would be,
The term might be lymphocytic leukemia, but
oh, I see.
don't
It's a specific kind of leukemia. Got
yeah, don't quote me on the specific type of leukemia
No,
because
I won't. But I think
yeah,
the important thing is for people to hear that they get the 40-pound bag of the ultra litter. They get $3
yeah,
off of it, and you make a donation of $3. They're also
right,
very free to make a donation of $10 of their own because no matter what cancer has touched their lives, and pretty much everybody's life has been touched, if not directly, at least one person removed by cancer. It's important to understand that there is a big American organization that's supposed to be dedicated to cancer, and it does a lot of good work, but it also spends a lot of its money telling you to give it money. As many, the bigger the organization, the more that's true. So they have
yeah,
big offices and they have a lot of paid people and they send out a lot of mailings. But I think when people say, oh, this is Dr. Bruce Elsey's uh, idea, this is his belief in where cancer research money would be best spent, and it will all be spent on the research. It's
right,
there's no logos and billboards, and it's just directly to the scientists working with the patients who have the disease.
yeah. My wife Kathy owns half the company, so that has a big effect too, you might say. We definitely have a cat in this fight, right?
You definitely have a cat in this fight, and she's
Yeah,
a wonderful cat, and she's part tomcat because she hasn't given up and she's powered on. And it is a God thing that somebody
yeah,
gets that fairy dust where they dodge the big evil bullet. But you haven't stopped working on behalf of all those other people. And I think it's really important that everyone feel that they can participate themselves in some way. They're part of the cure, they're part of the caring. Now, Dr. Elsey's Fund to Cure Cancer, is that a separate nonprofit that funnels money, if you will, to Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation? Or how does it work if somebody is listening to this and says, oh, I'm really moved. This means something to me. I want to make a difference, but frankly, I don't want to give it to the American Cancer Society. Now, I'm not being negative, but I'm just saying that the bigger a company is or a foundation is, the further removed it is, perhaps, from its original mission. I'm sure it does lots
right,
of good work, but having lost a number of important people in my life to cancer, I've never given money there just because it feels too removed to me. So,
right.
Dr. Elsey's Fund to Cure Cancer, what does that fund do something different?
The main focus certainly is multiple myeloma, and it's more that multiple myeloma in all the research that it's doing, and then the fact that it's caused other people that are researching cancers to take a different format in sharing their information. I think that the sharing of information between cancer researchers, that they really been the tip of the spear on that initiative. And that's the connection between our Dr. Elseys Fund to Cure Cancer and the Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation, is the broader aspect of the approach that they take as far as finding a cure for all cancers as a result of making tissue cultures and information available throughout the entire cancer community of researchers.
It really does mean a lot. Anyone who's had the patience and the fortitude to read through the massive book, The Emperor of All Maladies, which is an extraordinary book about the history of cancer as if it was a biography. It's a biography of the disease. And it takes us on the journey of when cancer was first detected in humans, all the way through all the things that have been done throughout history, not up to modern times, but whenever it was published, I'll pick a number 10 years ago, up until then. And the fits and the starts and the throwing darts at a dartboard with a blindfold on in many forms of cancer or the disease itself, and the need for everyone to work cooperatively. It has to be a community effort. It does take a village, and the village can go around the world, all over the world. There's great work being done. France, Italy, Germany. I don't know the other countries for sure where it's really, the UK has some on sarcoma, but all these orphan cancers that can touch our lives. It's important
Exactly.
that we reach, that we give our support, whatever it is. Really, $10. You reach 17 million, $1 at a time. So,
Yeah.
you know what? I just think it's wonderful. I don't have kitties at the moment, so I'm going to go to Dr. Elsey's Fund to Cure Cancer and make my donation there. But anyone who wants to just stock up on kitty litter, I mean, you know how fast you're going to go through it anyway. If you have a garage space or some place to store it, get extra bags, and while you're at it, throw in a few more dollars. And
Yeah.
I think what you're doing is wonderful and really gratifying. I was talking to a friend the other day who was able to help a person with an issue. All these GoFundMe things, some of them are very frivolous. She had decided to
Yeah.
help one directly. And I said, you know, Dr. Elsey and his wife have an incredible opportunity they've created for themselves. They get to take care of other people. They get to give their bounty to others. And isn't that a really precious, luck is the wrong word entirely, but it's a gift, isn't it, that you can do this?
Oh, yeah, big time.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I have to pinch myself at our success as a company. And I think that it just, like I said, I think it has to be a God thing on that, from that standpoint. But
I don't
uh,
think it's,
so,
I'll disagree on that. Kathy is a God thing because she's such an outlier. But the success of Dr. Elsey's, I think, is because you are the driving force and the brains and the heart behind it. And everything you do comes purely from what is best for cats, not what is best for to make a buck or what is best to have glory. And I remember years ago, you came on the show and we talked about the wild grasses of Colorado that you had put in the litter because all these other litters were putting in scents that the cats hate and are antithetical to cats' wellness, like lavender and pine and citrus. And then you decided that any scent is bad for cats. It looks attracted to the human buying it. Oh, I want to smell like the fresh ocean breeze, like your laundry should smell like that, which is a whole nother question. Why do we have to put all these fake scents and everything? But you have done everything purely, Bruce, and I think that the success comes directly from that. I think either people understand that about Dr. Elsey's or they use the products and their cat is happy. And that right there, that you're speaking for cats, you're making things for cats, you care about them as a species we're sharing the planet with, and often not very politely.
yeah, I might expand on that, fragrances and cat litter, because that's kind of one of my big deals right
Yes.
now. Is that so? We actually had a fragrance that was a moisture activated fragrance in some of our litters that were doing quite well. And we pulled them off of the market. And just because we realized that a cat's sense of smell is 14 times better than ours, they have 4 to 5 times the amount of olfactory epithelial cells to pick up odors. And then the way the odors go through their nasal turbinates slow it all down. So what happens is it would be like something you could smell from 5 feet, they can smell from 70 feet.
Whoa.
So they can smell something clear on the other end of your house that you can only smell when it's right there at your feet.
Wow.
So when you look at any kind of fragrance in their cat litter, that cats, but they really depend on their sense of smell to feel safe in their environment.
That's right.
Whereas we use our sense of hearing and our sense of sight, they
Yes.
use their sense of smell. So any fragrance like that in cat litter that interferes with their ability to detect any kind of threats in their environment causes them stress, and then stress
Right.
causes a lot of different disease conditions,
Yeah.
interstitial cystitis, blood in their urine. It just is overall, it's just a very bad situation to do something that really overwhelms a cat's sense of smell and causes them to be stressed as a result of it. So we couldn't go down that road and pulled that litter from the market.
You had been down that road and it was successful in terms of sales and the humans were happy, but you decided to forego whatever those lost dollars could potentially be so that those cats didn't have a house filled with an odor that to the people was either pleasing or masked the smell of the urine before it got totally encapsulated, but to the cat, in a completely invisible way to the owners, was making them uneasy. And an uneasy cat is not a happy cat. They're just on edge time. And so
Exactly.
I think that's just an amazing thing to do because you lose some customers and then you have to take the extra time and effort to educate those people to say you love your cats, you want a good life for them. You're going to have to deal with whatever the loss of that masking odor was for you on their behalf. And I think people will do it once they understand the downside of odors.
I might just say that if you have the right type of cat litter, which we do, it absorbs the odors naturally and you don't really need a fragrance.
Well,
If
that
you,
is like the laundry, Bruce, or it's even like underarm
yeah,
deodorant. Everything that's being sold in America is full of fake fragrances. I mean,
right.
much so you cannot buy a garbage bag for the kitchen that isn't infused with an odor. Now, you keep your garbage around for so long that it's stinking up your kitchen. My husband's sensitive to smell. He said, "Whoa, those garbage bags are all perfumey." I could not
Yeah,
find one that wasn't infused with some sort of scent. Good luck finding a fabric softener or a detergent or even a squirty cleaner for your home that isn't full of fake fragrances. We or
yeah,
people that have plug-in air fresheners. Why is your air not fresh? Open the window. Everything has to have fake smells, so that's a very American thing. In Europe, I'm sure a lot of these fake fragrances are considered unhealthy and therefore they're probably banned, like all the fake food colors have been. I think it's important that we understand that these animals are all over our furniture, all over the floor, and all these fragrances are infusing everything. So let's clean up their environment and not
yeah.
pollute it from the litter box on out, right?
Yeah, and especially this time of year, you've got the pumpkin spice candles
My good
and
Judah.
all that.
Oh
Can you
God.
imagine your poor cats having to deal with the potpourri and just need to not go there? The candles,
Yeah.
etc.
Candle industry must be huge
Yeah,
because J Maxx, excuse me, and Marshalls, the only two places I shop because I'm this thrifty, they have entire aisles with nothing but scented candles. It's quite
yeah,
remarkable. And they call some of them paws and sand. So and they say pet odor candle. Like your pet have an odor. Your pet smells delicious. Them sometime. They smell really good.
Yeah, there's the American Association of Feline Practitioners. They've changed their name now to Feline Veterinary Medical Association, but they have a directive as far as a cat's environment on how to provide a ideal environment. There's 5 different pillars. And the fifth pillar is to not do anything that's going to interfere with their ability to pick up different fragrances that they might find are threats in their environment. And what we think is there's no threats in my cat's environment, but you have to think further on that. People, dogs, and other cats can all harm cats.
For sure. Yes, and novelty is worrisome because you're not just a predator, you're also a prey animal. So anything new in the environment can be scary. Dr. Bruce, you've done amazing things. You continue to do them. December is going to be a great month for the $1 million match. So anyone that wants to go to Dr. Elsey's Fund to Cure Cancer or the Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation, there's $1 million matching grant, and that $1 million comes right out of Dr. Bruce and Kathy Elsey's bank account, and they want you to participate so they can give that $1 million. Let's please help them give $1 million. I'm going to just stir people up, Bruce, to take that $1 million out of your account so we all put in enough that you can send that much more to Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation. Thank you for all your good works. And of course,
Well,
personally,
Tracie, I want to interject that you've been a blessing to all the pet owners, dogs and cats over the years. And so I just want you to know how much that we appreciate you
well,
and
you're
your
nice.
books and your podcasts and your
And the
radio
film
shows.
festival, thanks to you. Um,
Well,
without you as the angel under my wings, or whatever the expression is, the wind underneath my angel wings. I don't know. Do I have angel wings? It wouldn't be possible. And I feel really lucky to be in a position to have partners who are pure and good and completely animal centric in all the best ways. So it's my gratitude for your support of
well,
my work. It makes it so worth it. Someone could give me $1 million and they could be a company that was just like a big evil multinational corporation. I'd say thanks, but no thanks. We got to be in this for the right reasons. We're in it
yeah,
for the animals.
yeah, exactly. And the head of the Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation, Kathy Giusti, she has multiple myeloma.
Oh my goodness.
So she
Wow.
was lucky she had an identical twin sister that she was able to get cells from.
Wow.
So she is she's getting along okay. So that's great.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
great. Godspeed to her and to your Kathy because you're
Okay.
all pioneers. Thank you, Dr. Bruce. Thank you
Okay.
so much for all you continue to do for everybody. Take care.
Thank you, Tracie, for all you do. You're a blessing.
And you are one right back at you. Bye bye.
Okay.